Welcome to 4C Radio. We are broadcasting from the central campus of Christ University, Bengaluru. 4C Radio is brought to you by the Department of Media Studies, Christ University. For all those who are looking for a platform that focuses on communities, commons, climate, and communication, this is the place to be. What's more, the station is run by a diverse community of students and dedicated faculty members. Tune in to experience hard-hitting interviews, fact checks and myth-busting, on-ground stories, campus news, and more. Cinema is not just about stories on screen. It is also about the people behind them and the systems that shape their experiences. The 2017 assault case involving a Malayalam actress brought attention to the lack of safety and support for women working in the film industry, sparking important conversations about power, accountability, and change. It led to collective action, legal discussions, and a closer look at how the industry functions both on and off screen. This podcast explores how cinema operates at the intersection of culture, law, and media, examining how moments of crisis can lead to dialogue, reform, and a rethinking of power within creative industries.
Well, as we are talking, one of WCC's members has filed a case against a huge director for assaulting her at an IFFK venue where they were both panelists.
That was the voice of actress, dancer, and producer Reema Kallingal from a panel discussion in a recent film festival, Pradhabimb, in Christ University. Now, what happens when cinema moves beyond entertainment and becomes resistance? When stories of women are no longer whispered but amplified? Today, we explore how cinema, law, and media intersect in shaping the narratives of women's voices. Now, let's get some context about everything.
In 2017, an established actress was subjected to a heinous incident of sexual assault in Kochi, Kerala, and she courageously spoke up for justice. A collective of 18 women from the Malayalam film industry started to come together to stand by the survivor. Spanning multiple generations and film disciplines, this group met up with the Chief Minister of Kerala, Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan, to draw government attention on the gender discriminatory values and unsafe practices that are rife in the film industry. Thus, the Women in Cinema Collective came into existence. It was the first of its kind.
They demanded proper internal complaints committee, gender-sensitive policies, institutional reform, structural accountability.
The first organized women's collective in Indian cinema. One of its founding members is actor and producer Reema Kallingal. We asked her what that moment meant and what has changed since then.
I think Kerala as a state has had so many conversations about sexual harassment, about the POSH Act, about what rights of a woman are on a workplace, in a workplace. And I, as a person who was extremely hopeful of what change could look like when I started WCC 10 years back. And today, the same case that prompted us to start this movement, that case is at a standstill where main culprit was acquitted. And as much as I am not that hopeful today, I have seen change in maybe in small pockets, in the way that writers today are at least like, is this politically correct? Is there something wrong? Am I going to offend a part of my audience because I'm not woke enough?
Her words definitely reflect a shift, but change in cinema does not exist in isolation. It collides with law, media, and power.
Beyond public outrage and activism, the Bhavana case became a long legal battle.
The case went through years of investigation, witness examinations, and court proceedings before judgment.
The charges in the case were framed under the Indian Penal Code, These included wrongful confinement, kidnapping, sexual assault provisions, criminal intimidation, and criminal conspiracy.
Conspiracy is one of the most complex charges in criminal law. To prove conspiracy, the prosecution must establish that there was an agreement between the individuals to commit a crime. This agreement is rarely direct, so courts rely on circumstantial evidence.
In criminal law, the burden of proof lies entirely on the prosecution. The accused is presumed innocent until proven guilty. To convict someone, the court must be satisfied beyond reasonable doubt.
This high standard exists to prevent wrongful convictions, but it also means trials can take years, especially when there are multiple accused and extensive evidence.
To understand how the legal system approaches such cases and why trials are often prolonged, we spoke to Advocate Poorna Ravishankar from the Alternative Lawyer Forum.
So, firstly, of course, for all women, regardless of whether they are in the film industry or otherwise, there is the criminal code under which there are certain acts of violence against women which have been criminalized and which are absolutely not encouraged, absolutely not tolerated, rather. And so in 2023, we had the new code, which is the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which came up. But before that, of course, we had the Indian Penal Code, under which sexual harassment, sexual assault, stalking, voyeurism, all of these were offenses, and they continue to be offenses under the BNS as well.
She reminds us that safety is not accidental, it is structured through awareness and accountability.
The Bhavana case also revealed the challenges within the legal system. Trials are lengthy. Powerful accused often have influence. Freelance industries like cinema complicate jurisdiction and workplace definitions.
We asked the advocate, where do you see gaps in protection within the film industry?
See, I think the film industry has to, first of all, be legally compliant with the mandate of the POSH committee. That is the first step. And then you also have to ensure that, the committee and the setting up of the committee is just one part of what the POSH committee or the POSH Act, stipulates. But to create an environment which is free of gender discrimination, etc., there needs to be a larger churn within the film industry or any industry for that matter, where we are talking about, different factors that contribute to gender discrimination, where everybody is aware that this is the reality in society. You have to have an awareness about caste and caste discrimination, and how caste discrimination also has an impact on gender and therefore leads to gendered violence. You have to have an understanding of patriarchy. You have to have an understanding of class differences. So, one is, of course, to have, which is the easiest step one to do, which is to have legal compliance, which is to set up committees that the law stipulates, which is to ensure that women are able to go complain to this committee, regular training of the committee. There are POSH trainings for those members who are part of the film industry, which is regular, so on and so forth. But also, overall, as a industry and as a society, we should be able to reflect on oppressive structures in the society, such as the caste system, the class biases that we have, and the class inequalities that persist. We have to talk about how religion and religious differences impact the life of women. We should have an understanding of patriarchy. So this is a very long-term project also. And there are are immediate things also that we can do, which I just listed some time back. But this is also a long-term project, because the law can only answer a problem to a certain extent. But for the problem to stop existing, it is more of social work that are required. So we need to be able to reflect on all this in every industry, how class and caste and patriarchy and religious differences, etc., are playing out in my industry, and what are the remedial steps I can take to address these inequalities. Those conversations need to be happening.
If law exists, how does it translate into everyday practice on film sets? Do these directors ever take responsibility? Are safety norms implemented beyond paperwork? Director Paul's career reflects on responsibility within filmmaking and storytelling. We raised practical concerns. Are poor sanitation facilities still common on sets? How do you ensure women feel safe during sensitive scenes? How do you promote equality among crew members? And more.
In the last movie I worked in Kadal the Call, there was a proper ICC, and the Kunyila was heading that committee. And if there was a complaint from any of the team member, they can go to Kunyila directly or that committee. So during the constituting that committee also, so 2 persons from the team and 1 from outside. I think that's the legal nuances of that. So I think there is a mandatory rule and everything is there, but we have to ensure that throughout every set it is being followed and everything. That's it. Yeah. So, but now it's becoming more safer day after day.
As a filmmaker, how would you prefer the industry respond to cases like that of the Adijivida?
More of it, anyway, it was very unfortunate that kind of an incident took place. It's not like it happened in movie or somewhere else. It's happened in Kerala. That was very shocking. But she came up with open up about what that unfortunate incident, and one or the other way, the Kerala society responded in a much more civilized and open, with more openness, with more empathetic approach was there from the people and everyone, from the system also. But there was nuances about all this. Like a coin, there was 2 sides for that. Like there were 2 opinions about that. That empathy is the one thing we have to matter. That's not the empathy towards because of the survivor or something. Basic empathy towards the colleague, a human being, every colleague in the industry I'm speaking. About the verdict and everything, I don't know, because we are not that much aware about the facts. The system and the court, everything knows the facts and everything.
Law creates structure, directors implement policy, but public pressure sustains accountability. That pressure often comes from media.
We asked a film journalist about his opinion on the importance of media.
Actually, the media plays a very indispensable role in make a powerful person accountable for the workplace safety and whatever is happening in the industry. For example, the last HEMA committee, whenever the HEMA committee report published, the Amma President Mohanlal have to answer for that because of the media, and the Siddiq Amma secretary, he also exposed, and he also compelled to come before the media and respond to the questions and the issues in the media industry.
Reporting also carries responsibility. We asked, how should journalists handle cases of exploitation without sensationalizing them?
Media person should respond after carefully analyzing the situation and only report what is the fact. Always try to cover the identity of the survivor.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. As always, stay curious and tune in for more. This episode was hosted by Nishtha Chakrabarti with reportage by Anju Harikumar and Pooja VP. Edited by Anju Harikumar, Pooja VP and Guru Aditya. And illustrated by Vernika Singh. Signature tune composed by Dr Ananthu. Please write to us and follow us on X, Instagram, and LinkedIn.